Hangin with Taurus, Astro-Tarot, May 2020 with street level spirituality. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to be having some fun tonight. This is the new format. This is the second video I've done in this format. We're streaming live on Twitch, and then we're processing those videos and pushing them over to YouTube. We're going to try this for a while. We're going to still create some awesome fun content and other videos with shooting out in nature and crazy stuff like that. But this is our new format in regards to... Oh, it's time to switch the thing. I'm still learning about all this stuff. It's kind of fun. Look at this. Taurus, Astro-Tarot, May 2020. Anyway, there's a lot going on this month. May 2020, everybody knows things are kind of wacky out there. And yeah, what can I say? I think everyone kind of knows what's going on there. Now, what's interesting about it is, I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit because so I can hear myself talk. What's interesting about it is that being a Taurus, you're going to be naturally probably feeling most of this energy on a very personal level that people are going through globally. And the reason for that is that we've had Uranus and Taurus since 2018, but it's starting to really ramp up now. The first time it came in was when we started having those volcanoes in Hawaii. So Uranus is a planet of sudden change and revolution. It comes in with a cricket bat and clears the table off and says, get out of my way. So when it comes in the Taurus, it's coming in to affect really deep-rooted patterns in you that have been around for a long time, and it's coming in to just shake things up and give you a kind of a revolutionary new direction in your life on a lot of levels. So how this affects you personally really depends on your personal chart, but the general theme here is radical changes in your life. And this goes until, what is it, 2026. So this is just starting, and we're all feeling it globally right now. Taurus is ruled by the Earth, and it also rules Venus rules it. It's aspected with Venus. So you have this kind of beauty and Earth themes coming up, and with Uranus sudden changes, where that means sudden Earth changes, it means sudden changes with finances and the financial markets, things of that sort. So all things Taurus. You're a Taurus, you know all about this. So anyway, so that's the big deal that's going on. To me, that's the underlying energy behind all these kind of interesting things we're going through right now. Let's see. What I'm going to do is, I'm still kind of learning about all this stuff, how it all works, but I'm going to pull up all these buttons back here and stuff. I'll pull up my Twitch stream, my other computer, and just make sure everything's streaming good. And hello. Hello. All right, awesome. Here we go. That looks pretty good. Looks like things are happening, huh? Cool. So anyway, so what we're going to do today, we're going to do the usual hanging with style reading. We're going to go over the astrological aspects. This month, I'm getting a little more in depth. We're going to get really detailed into each and every aspect throughout the month of May. So feel free to hang out with me as we go through it. And let's get started. So, let's see. You know what we can do is we can pull up the chart. So this is May 1st, 2020. And you see all these things flying around. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. That's the transit chart. Let's make that the natal chart, which is just kind of the general chart of May 1, 2020 at 12:01 a.m. So that's what it looks like coming into May. And if you look at this chart closely, I wish I had a little pointer. I don't have a pointer. You can see that on May 1st, we have Mercury conjunct Uranus and Taurus. So that's that aspect we were just talking about of Uranus being in a Taurus. So you have Mercury aspecting it, and people are going to be talking about what's going on with this whole virus thing, anything to do with these changes that are going on in the earth. It's going to be a bigger conversation that's coming up. We're going to start talking about what's next, what's coming in the future, Are things going to start getting back to normal? What's changing? What's not changing? I think it's pretty clear to me that there's been a radical change for a lot of people on a very fundamental level. So I think that conversation is going to be an interesting conversation. And then on May the 4th, may the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day, which is my daughter's birthday. The ships are grounded. We have the sun illuminating Mercury and Taurus, and that affects the way that we communicate and think in a very beautiful way. It's very articulate, very grounded energy. So, I mean, this is lots of Taurus energy for you. So, Sun conjunct Mercury and Taurus, May the 4th. And May 7th, we have the biggie full moon of the month. We have a full moon in Scorpio, and simultaneously the sun in Taurus in your sign opposite the moon in Scorpio, which is your opposite sign. So, Jesus. I was just thinking about my kids. I got a Taurus and a Scorpio, and then the mom and grandma is a Taurus and a Scorpio, and they kind of all are always opposite each other, balancing each other's energy out. It's really interesting. So I'll have to keep my phone turned on around May the 7th, I should say. So anyway, let's see. So that full moon, the full moon is about becoming aware of your deepest desires and areas that we struggle in fulfilling those desires. Sometimes we can have spiritual guilt. Sometimes we can just shortchange ourselves or have skewed visions or ideas about things, and we label them good or bad, and not recognizing that it's really how you do something, not necessarily what you do. Obviously, where you don't want to kill someone or anything crazy like that, but finding balance is all about how you do it, right? So everything between your sexuality, your creativity, your work, who you are on a personal level. You just want to do a little bit of everything, keep life in balance. You have a little bit of chips, and you have a little bit of exercise, and you have a little bit of that food that, you're not supposed to have. And then you balance it all out so life doesn't become this polarized good and bad reality. And we get more in touch with our somatic selves, which is our bodies. And we allow that to guide us into what's right for us and get away from this mental convulsing I think that a lot of people go through. So anyway, so that's the full moon in Scorpio on May 7th. And then we've got a few retrogrades this month. On May 11th, Saturn goes retrograde in Aquarius first and then goes backwards into Capricorn. So I was just looking at the chart here. I got to figure out some kind of pointer thing. That'd be kind of cool, right? Okay, so this Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, this is until September 30th, and there's a few layers to this. So on one level, you need to kind of reevaluate your friendships and your relationships and see what's healthy and what's not, what's working for you. If you discover a friendship or relationship is toxic, you need to really eliminate that from your life. There's this real pending kind of responsibility that comes from Saturn. And that layer, the couple other layers with this is interesting. So one is, whenever Saturn goes retrograde, it always slows down the jobs, the work stuff a little bit. So it can be symbolic or it can be literal. But often what I'll see kind of a slowing down of work opportunities and things of that sort. So let's see here. And the third level of Saturn being retrograde, or the lesson of Saturn in general that comes up is it's about making peace with the day-to-day things, the things that aren't necessarily super exciting for us, the things that we have to do, but they feel kind of mundane and kind of tedious. It's making peace with that process, and as we make peace with that process, then Saturn won't push on us so hard. So that's the issue there with that's one of the themes with Saturn in retrograde. That's till September 30th. So what I was saying is maybe some of us are getting stimulus checks, maybe some of us are getting whatever getting paid for some gigs, but yeah, it's quite possible there'll be a slowdown. And with this Uranus and Taurus revolutionizing resources, we might see big transformations in currency, things like that over the next so many years. So don't be surprised if you see people in the streets saying, I don't want digital money, I don't want one world money, I don't know, whatever it is. We're going to see huge transformations in the financial markets. There's going to be earth changes. I don't think it's quite over yet, man. I think this is just kicking off. So last time we had this was during the Great Depression. Was the last time Uranus was in Taurus. So there was a lot of we had World War II. We had a lot of natural disasters also. So I'm not trying to freak anyone out or anything like that, but this is like exciting times of transformation and really in power struggles. So this is a great time to get clear about power, where you give it away and where you take it from other people. So I always say, feed on the sun, not each other. And I just mean cultivate joy, a balanced lifestyle that has your fingers in every little slice of the pie of the balance of life, and keep it chill, and avoid trying to rob energy from others. And for some people, learn to speak up and have a voice for those who can't, So, anywho. Well, I'm doing a late night one here, man. Late night. I couldn't help myself. So anyway, so as let's see, a couple other small things. Okay, so then we have on the 13th we have three different things happening. On May 13th we have Mars entering Pisces, and Mars is this very kind of fiery, very active planet, and in Pisces it's kind of like, who invited me here, or what? It's like going to the party and wanting to skip out as soon as you walk in. It's not very activated there. Mars is very material and fiery, and Pisces is just kind of like floating off into the water off in the distance. It kind of puts Mars's fire out, so it's not a very active position for Mars. And it's just a confusing time. So we'll just leave it at that. The second thing that happens, which is going to be influencing, these all influence each other, so it'll be interesting how they all kind of homogenize. So there's kind of this Mars like slow down, like, oh, what's going on here? And at the same time, you've got Venus going retrograde in Gemini the same day until June 25th. And Venus retrograde is a time to focus more inward and not outward into the material world. It's a time to reflect on all themes Venus in our lives, how we love, how we express our beauty, things of that sort. That's going to be till June 25th in Gemini. So you don't want to take too many responsibilities in your relationships, and then be kind of mindful of sticky situations in regards to sexual relationships and things of that sort. Venus retrograde can be a time where we get really excited about something new, and it's this whole new energy because Venus is backwards. And then when we play it out, it may be very fulfilling or exciting, or we may make decisions that affect our lives in long-term ways. But then as soon as Venus comes out of retrograde at the end of June, how you feel about that situation generally contracts, or you don't feel the same way anymore. So people starting relationships, sexual relationships during this time period you can have fun or do whatever you want, but just make sure that your head's straight. And especially if you have Gemini aspected in a good way in your chart somewhere, you could come across some trouble. Some fun trouble, but maybe some fun trouble, I don't know. Okay, so let's see here. So that is okay, so I see. So yeah, so the same day Venus goes retrograde in Gemini is the same day that it gets into Gemini. So that's really interesting also. The next day on May 14th, we got another retrograde. We got Jupiter going retrograde in Capricorn until the 13th of September. So this is Saturn retrograde, this is Venus retrograde, and this is Jupiter retrograde coming all across the summer. And I mean, this is intense stuff. Just from there's going to be a major slowing down, and I think a lot of people right now are kind of expecting things to pick back up soon, and they've been hunkered down for a long time. But maybe the reality of all the situation just slows everything down. So this is going to be a time to really focus on meditation and learning how to slow down, take care of yourself, whatever you can do there to make peace with your environment, man. I mean, definitely have a physical routine every day. Definitely drink plenty of water, and definitely practice a little bit of self-care. You know, those are things that are the bare minimums of how to deal with this stuff. Jupiter retrograde. I was in Capricorn until September 13th, so this is all through the summer. And the visual I got with this was like putting your hot new bikini on or your banana hammock, whatever the dudes do, and being all excited, getting out to the beach. It's summertime, and then the wave hits you, and boom, your top comes off or your bottoms fall off, and you're exposed. And Jupiter's going to be doing this in regards to anything to dealing with your career, your work life, your career. And what happens is Jupiter gets you really excited. It kind of tricks you. It's like, oh yeah, you get excited, and be that person that you shouldn't be. Be excited. So it basically, what I mean by that is that you might be in the work environment, your confidence goes sky high, but it's going to kind of pants you in the sense that if there's anything about how you're behaving in your work environment, how you're relating to other people, how you are structuring things, anything that's kind of rubs people the wrong way or gives them the sense that you're not sharing love with them, that you don't care about them, or you're not being aware of something. It's mostly it's that you're not being aware of how something's affecting someone, or being insensitive, or just being grandiose in the way that you view yourself in regards to your work environment. So be really mindful there throughout the entire summer. It's a great time to, before you go to work, just maybe ask yourself, where choose an area I can kind of improve today. Slow down. You're going to feel real big. It's real expansive, but it's not time to really act on that level. You might have some genius ideas, but you have to really ground them in a mindfulness with working with others. So anyway, yeah, overconfidence is kind of the thing you want to avoid. You want to really look at your strengths and weaknesses. You really want to look at areas that you can grow. Then towards the, let's see, about almost a week later, on May 20th, the sun enters Gemini. Things start to get a little more excited, a little more fun-loving, kind of wanting to get out and explore the world again, and exploring your minds. Creating new experiences for yourself, looking at opportunities, and just that kind of zingy, fun energy that Gemini does. So, hello, Heather. Thank you for joining. Heather is the one who gifted me this glove to go on my earphones. Thank you very much, Heather. And we'll take a break, and we will pull an Edgar Casey card in honor of Heather joining us. Now, Heather is cross-watching here because she's actually not a Taurus, but I do believe she has a Taurus, Venus in Taurus. Did I get it right? I think I got it right? Maybe? Alright, let's check this out. Look at this new... Let's go to this one. Yay! Alright, Heather, thanks for stopping by. We're going to pull an Edgar Casey card in honor of Heather because she gave me these cards. Alright, let's see what the message is for Taurus for the month of May 2020. Oh yeah, we got some new jams. We got a whole new mix of trippy tunes that I put together. One of my favorite things to do is to make music and then share that. And this stream gives me an opportunity to share a part of me that I enjoy. And it adds to the vibe. I think I need some candles or something. I don't know, those lights in the background are kind of like Las Vegas right now or something crazy. Oh, I guess they're just changing. Ooh, thank you. Okay, anyway, so... Alright, Taurus. The message for Taurus is... We're going to punch to our card area here. And... Here's our card. It's purple. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Here's your message. Let thy prayer be. In thy will may I dwell, in the consciousness of thy presence abiding in me, ever in that love. You gotta give it to Edgar Casey. He's anything that's beautiful and simple, he's got an amazing way of making it sound really complicated. Alright, I mean that with obviously a lot of jest and love. Let thy prayer be, in thy will may I dwell, in the consciousness of thy presence abiding in me, ever in that love. So it's being aware of Creator and creative source, and seeing that, surrendering your will to the higher divine, and also witnessing that within the self, and kind of just getting away from the self. Now, all truths are half-truths, so it's important to remember that, because we can get into extremes like, oh, this doesn't matter, or I'm just spirit, or whatever it might be. It's like, yeah, that's 50% true. So it's important to keep things in balance here. But yes, surrender the self to God, but we also still have a self here, and we still need to be conscious of how we're navigating ourselves. But we do the will of the higher energies through us, and we surrender to the harmony that is innate, right? But we still be our beautiful selves and our own unique expressions of that. And aren't we all beautiful for who we really are? So anyway, that's your message, Taurus. And so that said, let's wrap up. I just had to take a little break there. Some of these get a little long here. Are we streaming at 22 minutes? That's not so bad. So getting back to the transits for the rest of the month. Okay, May 22nd, we have a new moon in Gemini. That's usually a good time to stop, drop, and roll. Stop, look, and listen. New moons in general are good for that. But it's a new moon in Gemini with Sun conjunct moon in Gemini. So I guess that's what a new moon is, right? The sun and the moon in the same place, right? So anyway, I guess that's a really long way of explaining it. It's a new moon. The sun and the moon are in the same place. So the idea here is it's just May 22nd, time to switch things up. Give your kind of normal routine the breaks and dive into something mentally stimulating. Gemini is all about mental stimulation. And the sun is there illuminating the conscious and the emotional sides of yourself. The last one for the month is on May 28th, and that is when Mercury enters Cancer. And
you are the image of women I will
Mercury
hold for all my life.
Entering Cancer basically is just the way that we communicate and the way that our minds are going to function is going to be more nurturing, more gentle, more loving, all that stuff. Mercury interacting with Cancer has to do with memory improvement, and then really relying on your emotions in how you make decisions and interact with others. So anyway, so that's the general transits for the month. God, I feel like I should start juggling or something. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I talked a little bit about the Uranus and Taurus thing at the beginning. This is especially applicable to you, Taurus. But in general, like I said, it's going to be a number of years of pivotal and sudden changes you know, with Uranus zapping up your chart for, what did I say, till 2026 or something like that?
Mommy, please don't hit me. Because I want a chance to love you.
2026. And the last time it was in Taurus was like the Dust Bowl, and it wasn't really fun. So anyway, what we'll do next is I think we'll get into some tarot cards. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to do some cards?
Because I love you.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the stream. There I am. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm doing this a little late. Little on the sleepy side, but let's keep this party moving here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get your cards mixed up. I actually dropped, what did I drop? I dropped an entire cup of tea on my desk, and my regular card deck is drying out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and use my other deck. Pretty much the same. This one just sometimes feels a little like lighter, a little fluffier, a little more zingy. Alright. What do you guys think I should do? I need some colors in the background? What do you guys think? A big fire? Got a dragon. What about a jungle scene with a large python that whistles every time he talks? What about a spaghetti forest? I don't know. Any ideas? Okay, so Taurus, May 2020. There's a lot going on these days. Lots of changes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about general themes and archetypes. So it's going to be up to you to recognize whether, when I talk about a relationship, whether it's romantic or personal, whether it's a relationship with yourself, whatever that might be. So take the narrative of what I'm sharing and apply it to your own personal life. That's how it works. That's how it's able to function with a lot of people in general, is to notice the general themes. Noodle trees. Let's do it. All right. All right. Jamming? Yeah, man. Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. So let's do. God, I'm still trying to make this like kind of smooth, but let's go ahead and get the transits going here. The transitions going, I should say. All right, and I think I did what I did last time. Was I bring the mic closer? Yeah, there we go. Am I a pro? Do I look like a pro? Okay, so we're going to do 3 piles. And Heather is going to be our honorary selector of the deck. Is it 1, 2, or 3 for Taurus, my highly intuitive Aquarius friend? 1, 2, 3. Oh, you like the music? This one's called Ego Implode. Really uplifting. Yeah. Alright, so Heather, you gonna pick? 3. Alright, here he is. 3. Alright. Nature of the reading. Ooh. Taurus has got a homecoming. Nice. It's a good way to start. I did Aries and I kind of... I'm sorry. What's influencing it? I did Aries and I kind of felt bad because their reading had a lot of reverse cards and a lot of dependencies, a lot of energies of dependence, depending on other people's energy, and their kind of result was discipline, and it's not always very fun to do that. But I prefer to do readings that are more focused on spiritual growth than just kind of making you feel good about yourself. It's like handing out cheap candy to kids, right? Okay, spiritual realms. You have the Knight of Swords, so charging forward in your mind and your mental energies. Recent past. I think, yeah, there we go. Oh, it's a little closer than I thought. Recent past. Oh, we're going to have to move everything over a little bit. I think. I'm still working this out. I don't know. There. Let's do that. Subconscious realms. Slowing down a little bit. Near future. Your attitude about the situation. The environment around you. Okay, so there's some value issues going on around you. Okay, well, actually, with the Queen of Cups there in reverse, you know, you have some similar stuff there. This is your outcome card up here. So, you know, the nature of the reading is the Six of Wands, and that's some sort of homecoming. That's some sort of rejoicing after a long journey, and it's really kind of coming. You could say it's kind of coming home with the kill, so to say, on one level, that you've accomplished something. I'm kicking tripods here. Let's do it. They just barely fit on there, don't they? Here, let's see if we can get the larger screen going. How's that? Same. Okay, so what was I saying? Five of Wands. Sorry, not Five of Wands. Sorry, Six of Wands. Six of Wands is being recognized for something that you've achieved, some sort of self-confidence coming back and progress or movement forward. Some sort of victory that you've had. So that's really wonderful for you, and I'm happy to hear that for you. What's influencing that is the King of Wands in reverse, and so there's something to do with, I don't know, kind of like something. There's something a little out of balance with it. There's something to do with haste or kind of some sort of I don't know, like impulsiveness or something like that. So there's something influencing this victory. You have this victory, but there's something hasty or kind of impulsive about it. And I'm hoping that doesn't mean celebrating too soon. Let's look at your spiritual realms here. So the spiritual realms on the top here, the Knight of Swords, this is what's coming down from the angels. And this is kind of like your spiritual communication. What's the message coming from your highest self? And the Knight of Swords is, you know, this fast forwarding movement, and it's being very communicative. You might be out kind of active communicating something. You're celebrating a victory. I'm really curious where this is going. In the recent past, we can look at what you're coming out of to see how you've arrived to this. Is you have the card of temperance in reverse, and that so you're coming out of some sort of imbalance or excess or some sort of upright. It's balanced. It's emotional balance. So you're coming out of this excess. You're coming out of this emotional turmoil. And I think what's happening with Uranus and Taurus, you know, with a lot of these real dramatic and quick changes, we can end up kind of really starting to recognize and seeing things. When you turn the volume up, you can really hear it, so to say, symbolically. So, you're coming out of this impulsive emotional nature. There's some sort of victory. You've accomplished something. But there's this kind of buggy, kind of hasty energy influencing it. So you'll just have to kind of look at your own life and kind of what this victory is for you, and see if maybe it's time to put the brakes on it a little bit, slow it down a little bit, not to jump to any conclusions. But again, you have the Knight of Swords in the spiritual realms really saying fast-forwarding movement, so it's this kind of interesting contradiction. And maybe spiritually you recognize that there's something really important to move forward on with your mental energies, but there's someone around you or there's something influencing you to be maybe a little reckless in how you're moving forward. So just be mindful of who's close by you and kind of how they're interacting with you. With the Seven of Wands in reverse, Eight of Wands in reverse, this is in your subconscious realms, and there's some sort of delay. Upright, this is fast forward movement, but upside down, it's kind of a delayed response. And this is in your subconscious realm. So there's something intuitively that you know deep inside of yourself that you can feel very somatically that has to do with this need to slow this thing down. And I find it really interesting. I mean, how interesting could you possibly make this? Look, you've got in your subconscious realms slowing down, in your spiritual realms saying speed up. So there's got to be a balance in between here. So you're striking some balance in this homecoming. Very interesting. Let's see how that applies to you on a personal level. Just tune into whatever this kind of achievement is that you've had, and then just really spend some time to reflect on the energy around it, because it seems like you're being pulled in two different directions. With the Seven of Pentacles, sorry, I keep reading this as 7, it's 8. As the Eight of Pentacles being in reverse is coming up in the future, is I think that you're just kind of losing track of some sort of focus. And this could easily be that, hey, you know what? Everyone's been called off work. We've been working at home. Maybe we lost our job. Maybe we don't know where we're going anymore. So, and I think this is something that we're all experiencing on a lot of levels, is just this feeling of kind of like, hey, I had a craft. I had a focus. What happened? You know, and so things are kind of slowing down a little bit. With the Page of Swords, so this is your attitude about the situation. With the Page of Swords, what we're looking at in reverse is, you know, again, this is a kind of a card of haste equaling waste also. Same with the King of Wands in reverse. So your attitude is just kind of, between slowing down here, I just don't think, I think that you've kind of lost your identity in how you're expressing yourself outwardly in some manner. And you kind of just don't know what to do about it. Now this is really important here. The Lovers upside down or in reverse, it means there's conflicting values with somebody. So that means you're not connecting with someone. There's someone literally in your physical environment that you're not connecting with. There's values that have changed. So again, like I said, you might be kind of changing directions in your career and your expression. Yeah, this is interesting. It's a really interesting this victory. I'm really curious what that means to you personally. But anyway, so in your immediate environment, there's a lack of values, and these are deal breakers. These are not things that you can work out. Generally speaking, in my opinion, is when values are completely off with people. You know, those are just not your people, and you know it's good to learn from each other, but it's also important to recognize when values just don't line up, and you kind of move forward, so to say. So keep an eye open for that. Three of Swords in reverse. This is coming out of some feeling of heartbreak or letdown, which is really wonderful, and this is your greatest hopes and greatest fears. So your greatest hopes and greatest fears is that you're going to come out of some sort of really difficult emotional situation. And you know, if you have conflicting values with somebody, I think this is very much about a personal relationship. So like I said here, there's the nature of this, there's something about values being off, and then hoping that you can mend your heart in some way, or just mend your emotions in some way. It could be work. But here's the difficulty. So the Queen of Cups in reverse, this is, you know, in an upright position, she's very confident of herself. She's very flowing. See, she's very flowing. She's very intuitive. She's very in touch with her emotions, symbolized by the water. She's very in tune. And when you have the Queen of Cups in reverse, what happens is you kind of have the dark side of that feminine energy. So you have a really high degree of like dependency and fear that comes out of those emotions, and as those waters become kind of ruffled and stirred up. So, you know, I think that this is the lesson here with this card as the outcome is really looking at your own personal resources and having the confidence to develop your own inner resources and kind of go and figure out what aspects of your inner resources have been neglected, or where you might have been kind of leaning on other people in a way that it's great to have that extra energy, but maybe it's time to kind of go in and say, the obvious here is material resources. You rely on a partner for your material resources. This is that kind of energy. Now, that's the obvious, but on a symbolic level or on a lot of other levels, this can be, all sorts of nuanced power plays. So again, this is about you cultivating your own energy, and doesn't mean we can't receive from others. But when it affects our own emotional well-being to the point that we feel desperate or threatened if it's not there at times, then that's not a benefit to anybody. And you know how the universe works. You'll come face to face with it at some point. So anyway, so that's your outcome, is the Queen of Cups. I gotta admit, this victory thing here is, I think this is going to be something more personal that you're going to know. You have this really interesting push and pull between moving forward and pulling back. And I know if I spend a little more time here, I could see what's happening here. But you've kind of found yourself in the middle, I guess, is one way you could look at it. Kind of the middle. Yeah, I guess I could see it that way. So you're kind of caught in the middle of this pushing forward and pulling back at the same time. Maybe it's the idea or the feeling that maybe it's the idea or the feeling. I'll pull this up here. Not that one. This one. There we go. I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. Maybe it's the feeling of, kind of you're out of your ordinary element at work, and you've made some landmark achievement along the way, and everything's feeling good, and then all of a sudden everything turns around. Maybe someone loses a job. Maybe they realize they don't want to do that anymore. But it's just interesting because I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is career oriented. And I feel like for some of you guys, this is a personal relationship. So you read it how you want, and only you know. But I would say right now, you're coming out a lot of imbalanced kind of views. And when you come out of imbalanced views, there's a reflection period to realign yourself to who you really are and kind of what your true intention is. But you can't do that until you kind of get aligned, and then that process occurs. So anyway, that's your reading for May 2020. Thank you for joining me. This is my new format on Twitch. This immediately goes out to YouTube. We've got new content on a new Facebook page, which is really focused around more writings and sharing ideas with some original content. I'm going to continue to do other edited original content. I got new gear, new ideas. So this channel is really going to be growing as I take it more serious as a part of who I am. And I'm just having a lot of fun doing it. So hopefully it benefits you also. We're in challenging times, Taurus. Things are going to change a lot, and it's all for the better for you. So just create a nice disciplined practice of self-care, and recognize that your thoughts and feelings are just like this stream. They syndicate out from your mind, from your heart, with a real strong vibration out into the world. And right now, we're being tested to see who's the spiritual warriors, and then who are the people that are just going to fall by the wayside. So we have to recognize that no matter what's happening around us, no matter how much we're led to believe that we need to be scared and frightful, or no matter what challenges we face, that we can still face those challenges and be responsible with those challenges, and still have the wisdom to not get lost in fear, and to syndicate and to broadcast the harmony that we know that we truly are as souls of God. So I hope you guys have a great May, and thanks for joining me. Please, like I said, check out Facebook, follow there, YouTube, and if you're on YouTube right now, go over to twitch.com/streetlevelspirituality and press the follow button, and you'll get notifications whenever I go live. So you can join in on the chat and have a lot of fun. I really appreciate your time and energy. Much love, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, take care. Bye.